we've been playing the Concord Beta. We each jumped into that. We all put varying amounts of hours into it. Connor, I believe I played the most with you. I think you, like 2-3 hours?
3 hours.
Yeah. Phil, you played with me for about an hour and a half, 2 hours, somewhere around there, because we played real late at night, and then we went to bed.
And then it was I think we started at 1:30 in the morning.
Yeah, and then I played about 6 or 7 hours total, which I think is a fair amount to at least get the grip of what's going on in that beta and what's going on. Gentlemen, we played Concord. We played the beta. How are we feeling about it?
It has fun gameplay.
Fun.
Yeah?
Overall, pretty fun is what I'd say. It feels really good. Shooting feels really good. Movement is really good. I think, we can really get into it, but it's mostly just hard figuring all the characters out because there's not really a good place to go and try everything out other than just hopping into a game and trying a different character. Mm-hmm. It's just a lot of the menuing could be a little clearer in terms of what type of character this is, what their purpose in the team is. There's not really that team composition aspect of it as there are in other hero shooters.
There is, but there
Overwatch
isn't. You can kind of build a bit of a team comp, and it might help out a little bit with balancing, but a lot of it just kind of comes down to player skill and how comfortable you are in that character, and how you outplay the other characters, which I kind of like. I kind of like that every character can do damage. Every character can get kills. Every character can stand on their own. You can get kill streaks with pretty much any character. I agree with you, Phil. I think the shooting feels fantastic in this game. This is one of the best feeling shooters I've played in a while. You can tell that there's ex-Bungie devs on this team.
Yes,
you can feel it in the gameplay.
In the movement as well, not just the gunplay.
Yeah, I really like how everything feels. I really like movement in this game. I love the variety of how characters feel when you play them. The heavier characters feel heavier. The lighter characters feel lighter. And then I pretty much like all the gunplay for all of the different weapons, of which there's a pretty wide variety of them. And they all feel pretty good to play. I love the abilities. I like all of the characters that I played as. I found favorites fairly quickly, but I do agree with you, Phil. There needs to be a training mode of some kind where I can go in, play around, figure out how these characters work, what their abilities do. There needs to be an easier way to read what they do. It's too difficult to get to certain sub-menus, like pulling up character information and what their abilities do. Pulling up the scoreboard is really circumstantial, at least in this beta. You have to be in-game, already spawned, and then press, I think it's up on the D-pad to get it.
It's up or down.
It's up or down on the D-pad. That's a terrible choice. That needs to change to the touchpad or select button, whatever controller you're using. It needs to change to that, and it needs to be able to pull up no matter what I'm doing. Not being able to pull it up in the character select after you die is weird.
And you saying all of that stuff really points out the biggest criticism of it, which is kind of the systems like that, including things like the maps. There weren't that many. I was waiting for there to be more diversity.
That's a beta.
But that's the question.
There's two. There was 3 maps? 2 or 3 maps? Yeah, that's fine.
Which is why you can't exactly get a full grasp on a game just on the beta alone. Since, is it a beta that shows all of the functions in the game is going to have day one, or is it leaving out some stuff? I don't know. As far as I know,
it's clearly leaving out some stuff. There's a game mode that they didn't give us that clearly is there. There's I assume there's more maps to be played in all of those things.
You would think.
And then there was some other stuff that was locked out.
But these games can come out half-baked. These have industry veterans at the head of it, so I doubt that it is going to have that problem. But without any of that specific clarification, I'm, still waiting for what it's going to be like on release day.
And you know what? I'm going to hop off of that. And I think that brings us pretty easily into our next talking point of, is this game worth $40? You have a concern that it may come out half-baked. This beta killed any of those concerns for me. This game feels pretty polished. There's still some tweaks that need to be done, and the game releases in a month, so there's still time to do it. There needs to be a few things added, like a training mode, like some of the menu things we were talking about. Characters need more voice lines when you select them. Hearing the same voice line from my character over and over and over again gets very old very fast.
It's very grating, for sure.
But this beta kind of sold me on the game a little bit. I think it's fun. I think it's I want to play more. I'm itching to play more. I'm more than willing to throw down $40 on Concord and play it day one.
Which is kind of the issue, because will other people? Because as good as the game is on its merits, being a live service game, you could play extremely well like this game does. It's no guarantee of success.
Yes.
And from what we know about the numbers so far, people don't really seem to be still that interested.
They're not
in
connecting.
It.
Yeah,
No.
it's not connecting. And that's unfortunate, because my feeling about it is would you get more players interested if it was free to play? Yeah, probably. But I'm always of the opinion that usually free-to-play games don't feel that great to play. There's a couple of exceptions. I look at Apex Legends. Feels great to play. I look at games like Valorant. Valorant's free-to-play, right? Or am I tripping?
No, it is.
It is?
Oh, it's free, yeah.
Yeah.
Valorant's free. Overwatch is free. There's a couple of examples of like really good shooters that are free-to-play. But I feel like the overwhelming majority of them that you find online, on Steam, on the stores and stuff that are free to play don't feel great like this one feels great. I would rather pay a little bit of money. $40 isn't full price. I think it's a reasonable amount for what seems to be being offered here. And the level of polish that it has. It feels polished. Could there be some more? Of course. But with what I played this weekend, I think this is more than worth $40. But I also, at the same time, fully believe that this game is going to flop day one. And I think there's a number of reasons as to why that is. I don't think they showed it well at any of the PlayStation events. I don't care about this semi-focus on story that they're doing. Let me ask you guys about that. Do you guys enjoy those cutscenes? Do you guys care about those cutscenes? Are you interested to see more of those cutscenes?
But I like, from day one, I was like, yeah, that's not really what I'm like going into this game for.
Yeah.
I respect the fact that they're doing it.
Yes.
Because, Overwatch, that was the big thing people were kind of interested to see going beyond the release date. Because it did have a lot of style with the characters and how they acted, but it didn't capitalize off that at all. The issue with this one is, even though they are capitalizing on having somewhat of a story, the characters themselves don't carry enough weight on their own. They don't look all of that interesting. They don't act particularly interesting or well. And so you're kind of just left with forgettable characters, besides the fact that they play very well.
I don't disagree. I think those cutscenes are well made, super well animated. They look great. But these characters feel like discount store brand Guardians of the Galaxy characters. This game cannot shake that. It's so clearly going for that Guardians of the Galaxy feel, but it just feels so generic. And I struggle to remember some of my favorite characters' names sometimes. There are some like standouts, of course. Linux, who seems to kind of be like the main guy that they're pushing forward. Yeah, that guy's kind of working for me, right? In terms of a character.
Yeah.
But
Star Child is very much Drax.
Yeah.
As far as, which I'm fine with it because I like that warrior archetype character,
yeah.
but it's so obviously riffing off of, that's the most blatant ripoff, I think, of a character from Guardians of the Galaxy. I guess Lennox is kind of like...
he's kind of like the Chris Pratt Star-Lord character. Yeah.
But he's fun. He's fun enough on his own to where he's like...
But then you
he's
get...
archetype of character.
But when you
rather than
get deeper into the roster, the more and more generic they get.
Yeah.
Daw, who's my favorite guy. Daw and Teo, damn near exactly the same type of character. One takes himself a little bit more seriously than the other. And you just look at them and you go, it's hard to even remember their names. This is so generic. I like the presentation of the game in the menus. I like the little like 80s sci-fi styling that they're going for. Again, kind of aping off of that Guardians of the Galaxy feel. It works. It just, there's something about character design and writing that isn't punchy enough to where it's just not, that part of the game is not leaving a very memorable thing. What I do remember, though, is all the fun I'm having while I'm playing the game, which is the important part, is the gameplay. I just feel like for a live service game, they need to be offering a better, more flushed out roadmap than, hey, for the first 12 weeks, we're going to have a new cutscene every time you jump into the game. All right, cool, but I kind of don't care. I kind of just want to play your game. What are you doing in the gameplay wise?
Going off of like more gameplay stuff, I think a lot of the they have a lot of creativity in terms of like what some of these characters can do.
Yes.
That I've never really seen in a character action game. Like, I mean, sure, there's some aspects that you'll see from other things, but like some of the stuff I saw, like there's this character that really comes to mind, Baz, that I know I heard Connor also enjoyed playing, where like she has a thing where you can throw a knife into somebody and then you can like track them for a short amount of time, like through walls, or like if you're near a wall, you can crouch and see some people through walls as well.
Oh,
Like it's very interesting, like how some of the ideas for these characters, like they have interesting gameplay like gimmicks, you know.
yeah.
Like there's that one. Another one that comes to mind is the Teo that he has like a smoke bomb that you can throw down, and if you aim down sides, kind of like Glaz from Rainbow Six Siege. You can see through the smoke.
Yes.
That's pretty useful and pretty cool. Lennox has himself a self heal. They can do. What's his name? Jabari.
Jabari, something like that. The guy
Jabali.
you like. Jabali.
Yeah.
Jabali.
Very fun.
He was a very cool, like more support themed character. I really vibed with Jabali. I liked him a lot.
And
he's got these little orbs you can throw at people and like heal them or hurt them.
Which to that point, he's a support character, but he can play, offense on his own.
He can get some kills
Because of his gun and because of those orbs you were talking about. It makes every single character not just really fit into a specific role,
Yes.
but allows you to play the game like everybody else.
and they all feel diverse and different. Your play style changes when you do play as other characters. They do not all play the same.
No.
Right.
Which is awesome that they struck a balance. All 16 characters can feel aggressive or supportive if they need to, and all 16 characters feel different to play. I think that's one of like the best things about the game is, again, this gameplay loop is awesome. It's really, really fun. It's really fun to find a character you like or try out a new character and be like, how does this guy work? Oh, this is cool. This is creative. This is interesting. And then it's diverse enough that to where when you see an enemy player playing that character, you know how to engage against that character now because you know what they do. That is the sign of really good game design. I think the game design in this game is fantastic. It's just the overall package around it has a couple of shortcomings that I would really like to see be punched up a little bit. Do you guys are you guys willing to spend $40 on this game?
Yeah, I am.
I think I would.
Yeah, I absolutely would too. 100%.
It's an easy game to jump in and play. It's super serviceable to a lot of people. I will say more in depth on the movement system. It's very cool because you have a slide, a jump, and a dodge. And depending on which character you play, you might have a double jump and a single dodge. Everyone, of course, has a slide.
Some guys have triple jumps.
Yes, some people have triple jumps. Some people have triple slides. Some people have double slides and maybe no jump at all.
There's a character when they dodge, they turn invisible.
Yeah.
There's a lot of like fun little passive abilities in there as well. Each again to the point of each character feels dynamic and unique, which is really, really great. What are some things we want to see put into the game at launch? We kind of touched on a few of these things already, but let's go ahead and kind of dive deep into that. First and foremost, I believe there needs to be a training mode. There needs to be some type of mode where you drop me into a map, I'm playing as a character, and I get to just kind of play with the abilities, see what they do, see how they function, put a couple of target dummies in there that I can shoot at and play with. There needs to be a way where I can test characters out before I jump into a competitive multiplayer environment.
Yeah.
I need to see like a good separation for like each of these classes that they kind of assign to these characters. Like I need more of a solid like, hey, you can really play whoever you want, but this character is more suited to this play style, or that I need those like groups.
Yeah,
there
needs to be
Overwatch,
more.
they had, like the
Go ahead.
I was saying Overwatch had like the DPS, the defense, or I think it was assault, defense, tank, and support at launch. Now it's just damage, tank, and support. We need some kind of separation like that, just to show the dichotomy of like all the different character types there are.
Yeah, just an easier way where we can find a play style that we know we already like. I know I like playing as support. Show me which ones are those guys so that I can jump to them first.
The only caveat is something that I think Overwatch ran into in its later cycle, which was being too focused on which role you're playing, because it got to a point where everyone was like, it played more like the normal game was the way competitive game would be played.
Yeah.
And it just felt like it was boring to see the same kind of team comps, because he would say, you have to do this role, and this role.
Too focused on meta. And I agree. That's something I like about the game is it's not super focused on a meta. You can build a team, you can build a team comp, and that can certainly help you in the game, but it's not detrimental. You can still win and play whoever you want while other characters, like, you don't need to have a tank on your team to win. You don't need to have a medic on your team to win. Which is something I really, really like about the game.
Yeah,
I want to see it.
I love all of the health packs around the level.
I also like
I mean, Overwatch had it too, but
I like how they function.
Yeah.
There's a small burst of health when you pick it up, and then there's a delayed increase as you keep going. I like that balance. It gives me, as an aggressor, an opportunity. If I see them going for a med pack, sure, they get the extra health right away, but it gives me time as the aggressor to go, oh, no, you don't, and shoot them and cancel out their healing on that. And I think it works the other way as well, where it's like, okay, I got this quick burst of health. I was close to dying, but so were they. Now I have the edge. Turn around, pop them. They're done.
Yeah.
You know, that's I like how that functions. That's really cool.
It doesn't as easily facilitate running away from firefights just to go get a health pack somewhere. And I felt like the movement helped allow you to track people down more.
Yeah.
You know, certain characters, of course, their stick is to escape from combat as efficiently, as quickly as possible.
Yes.
Besides those characters, though, if you run a health kit or enemy, friendly teammates better be around somewhere to help you out. Otherwise, you'll probably die.
That was something I also want to lean on. Not every character is focused on gunplay. You don't need to be the best shot in the world to be successful at this game. The abilities are on quick enough cooldowns or are focused on their cooldowns aren't on timers all the time. Sometimes it's based off of kills. Sometimes you got to go pick up what you threw out. Sometimes you have to go and break whatever you threw out to get it back, or just hold the button to charge it back up, something like that. I like that balance between gunplay and abilities. I think it's really well balanced. There are characters like Haymara is one of my favorite characters. She's got an explosive crossbow. It's got one bolt in it. You shoot it, and she has to reload. Now, the reload's not super long, but it's long enough to where it's not the most ideal primary weapon, right? But you match that with her fire abilities and her blinding ability, and suddenly she becomes really dominant on the field. She can really do a lot of crowd control. She can do a lot of AoE damage to kind of counteract the steady DPS that a Teo might have. And you can still come out on top on those things if you lean more on the abilities than you do the gunplay. I really enjoy the diversity there. One other thing I really want to see at launch, and it's possible I just got a bad impression on it because it's the beta. There needs to be a clearer path of progression, and I need to know what will get me different unlocks for the characters I like. As of right now, I don't understand why I'm leveling up characters. That wasn't clear to me. Why is my Haymara getting to level 4, level 5, level 6? But I'm getting a duplicate Linux, even though I didn't play Linux that much. Why is that happening, you know? And then on top of that, I need to figure out the best way to get cosmetics for the characters I like. Just having it seems like it's just based off of your overall level, and they're slowly doling out simple color changes. That's not enough. There needs to be an easier way to find out the things I like and how I can get to them.
Especially when your characters don't look all that great. I think you need kind of more wide sweeping changes to your character's cosmetic look.
Yeah.
Than what they've been giving.
Color
us so
swaps
far.
aren't enough. Give me different costumes. Give me different skins. Stuff like that. Because the first unlock you get for Starchild is him but green, and it looks ugly. It looks absolutely disgusting. It's so bad. And so we need to there just needs to be clearer menuing or a clearer path of progression. Right now, I don't understand how I'm getting these unlocks and what I'm doing to get them. So I really want to see that happen at launch. Hopefully they can kind of clear that out and finish it up. Is there anything else, guys, we want to throw out there before we move on from that?
I think that's good.
Yeah. I think so.
I'm officially excited for Concord.
Yeah.
Concord, yeah. Play the beta.
I
It's a
want
good
to
time.
play it. I want to play
Well, you
it.
can't play the beta because it's
Well, the beta's done.
yeah.
But I want to play more
For
Concord.
now, I think the beta will pop up again. I
You think we're getting another one?
I think so. The
We're
big
only,
thing
we're
we
only a
can't-
month
we
away
can't
from
play it
launch.
anymore?
we are
No,
no,
yeah,
yeah,
it's already
end of
checked
July 21st.
Yeah.
But see, I guess that's the last point I'll make. The thing that they really need to do is not have technical issues on launch day.
Yeah.
This is a game that doesn't really have the leeway to afford that kind of stuff. So I think another beta would be just another nice test before you go into the release.
I don't think this will happen. But you can't your servers cannot be easily overloaded like say a Helldivers 2.
No.
Now the difference in Helldivers 2 is that it was so successful they weren't expecting that. I think the opposite is true here where they do not seem to be having a great player base coming forward on this. You know, we saw the numbers on Steam. It didn't seem like the action on PlayStation 5 was that crazy. Sometimes it did take a little bit to find a game. It took a minute or two to find a game sometimes. I saw some people online, it was taking them so long to find a game that the matchmaking just canceled itself out. And it just timed out. And I go, uh-oh, that's not good.
That's potentially because they turned off crossplay, which if they did, it's still not good, but I guess that could be a reason why.
They didn't turn off crossplay.
Right,
you mean the player turned off crossplay? Oh, okay, got you. There's a potential of that as well. It's funny, that same problem that we had, Connor, where like I played the most, so I was the highest level, and there is a set of progression of game modes, and they introduced game modes to that. So Connor jumped in with me first, and I was like, here, you be party leader so that you can get that progression of game modes easily. And it wouldn't let us play because it said one or more players has crossplay turned off. That was not the case. It did let us play if I was party leader. Same thing happened with, and to be clear, I played on PlayStation 5, Phil played on PlayStation 5, Connor played on PC. Me and Phil jumped in together, had the same problem, even though we were both on PC. Or, I'm sorry, both on PlayStation 5. And so that's a weird bug in the glitch in the system. Not the biggest thing in the world.
But it's why I think another beta is proper.
Yeah. Maybe we need to work out some kinks. Do we think this game gets delayed?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
I think getting the game out and then building on top of that is better than delaying something like this, a live service game.
I think so too.
That's how you get feedback.
Yeah.
Player feedback's more important than whatever internal stuff they got.
Now, if it comes out, or when it comes out, and if it doesn't hit standards, do we see PlayStation commit?
we don't know their expectation right now. So it's hard to say. I mean, you would think with their big new studio being Firewalk, they'd want to.
Yeah.
But
let's give these guys the best chance in the world that we can. Ideally, Helldivers 2 bought you some runway, right?
Yeah,
right.
Ideally,
you can allow Concord to not be great at launch. Maybe it'll be great in 6 months. Maybe it'll build up a player base that wasn't there at launch but got there eventually. I hope they.
I don't even think it'll take that long. I don't even think it'll take 6 months.
It might
I don't even know if it'll happen at this point with how the internet is talking about this game.
But also, final point for me, nobody talked to the degree they did about Helldivers 2 until it came out. And all of a sudden, word of mouth, who knows what, it just blew up more than anybody expected.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
I don't think that's going to happen here in terms of like taking the world by storm, but it might make it a successful game at least.
Yeah.
I think people are still fighting the kind of like bad taste in their mouth that they got from the initial state of play, where like it was still unclear what type of game Concord was, and then it's like, oh, it's another 5v5 character shooter.
Yeah,
You know,
when PlayStation is known for their single player stuff, that's where the single player crowd goes. Yeah, I think the internet is being unfair to this game. Hey, if you have doubts about Concord, give it a try, give it a shot, because it is a lot of fun.
I think people should definitely give it a chance. I think out of the three of us, I don't know. Connor might have been more than me, but I think I was like looking forward to this the least. Maybe Connor had me beat, but I don't know. I turned around on it. So
when it showed his gameplay, I liked what I saw, but my issues were still the reception. So I was still like surprised by how much I enjoyed it.
Me too.
I gave a little bit of leeway.
I think what did I say in the games cast after. I said Concord looks like it's not doing anything wrong, but it's not looking like it does anything exceptional.
Yeah.
And I am getting that temperature check from some people who did play the beta of like, it's good, but it's not great, and I need something great for it to have my attention. That's a fair thing to say. But I think this game is I think it looks like it's shaping up to be great, personally.
Has potential.
Yeah, it definitely has a lot of potential. So I hope it's given a chance, because this game is a lot of fun to play.
Yeah.